Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm going to be showing you, in my opinion, the most dangerous tank destroyer in the game, which is currently top of the tree, so it's quite an easy and exciting vehicle to have access to right now. It is the one and only, the Tortoise. Now I think the Tortoise is the most dangerous tank inside the game because it's this wonderful mixed match of durability and firepower. And now, with the improved mobility that you can have on a vehicle like this, with the addition of something like a turbo compared to back in the day, it's not even all that slow. The Tortoise has the second highest DPM in the game. However, it is only fractionally, we're talking about less than 1% lower than its bigger brother at tier 10, the Badger. And so, really, to have, to all intents and purposes, the same damage per minute as a tier 10 tank at tier 9, which is 3,380 base DPM, which you can improve with things like the field mods by 3%. You can also take a gun rammer, which will be up to 13% improved rate of fire if you're using a Bond one. You can be taking vents as well, which will improve your rate of fire if you're using Bond vents by roughly about 4%. And you can take a premium consumable to improve your rate of fire by 5% as well. And you can also take yourself a gun rammer directive, which will further improve your rate of fire. Which means that I can get the reload of the Tortoise down to 5 seconds. That's 400 damage in 5 seconds. When you think about it, there are tier 9 autoloaders like the Tier 4 that have less alpha damage than that, although marginally 390, and they have a 4-second intra-click reload in their magazine. And then they have to go away and they have to reload for about 35 seconds to be able to deliver those 4 shells. The Tortoise is kind of like a Tier 4, albeit 1 second increase that never stops. However, of course, you can get that 5-second reload down even more if you ever find yourself in that sweet spot of having less than 10% hit points, which would be 198 for my vehicle, because I've got slightly lower hit points than the 2000 natural max that the Tortoise has, because I want to be able to try and improve other aspects of the vehicle. And so the Tortoise, it's so durable. It just can sit in front of its opponents, has ridiculous armor, 273mm, which practically requires gold to be able to penetrate it. Also, add to that it has really nice Hesh rounds as well, with 120mm of penetration, and that allows you to take the near 4,800 damage per minute that I currently have on the Tortoise and pump it up to way over 5,000, if of course you're able to penetrate. And there are quite a few vehicles that 120mm of penetration is able to penetrate as well. And even when you can't penetrate your opponents, the Tortoise does still manage to chunk thickly armored plates, although unfortunately not quite enough against that E75, leaving them on a very low amount, and the 44 damage that we dealt to them was not quite enough. So with the Tortoise, there are 2 setups that I would recommend on the Tortoise. Once you've got all of the field mods, I think that you could probably justify dropping a durability device on this vehicle. However, if you're on a fresh Tortoise and you don't have all of the field mods yet, I thoroughly recommend that you consider using a durability device on this vehicle to improve your track health. Because if you don't, you're quite often going to get locked in place and it's going to be incredibly awkward. Another thing I'd recommend is definitely to have intuition on this tank. You see how we were trying to fire HE rounds through the side of the VK there, and instead we reloaded to a gold round to be able to go through their turret. And wow, these tier 8s are definitely whooping my butt right now. That VK100-01P managed to actually penetrate me twice, and the Emil also managed to penetrate me. But unfortunately for the Emil, while their turret armor is good, the gold rounds on this tank with their 326mm of penetration are just a little bit better. It's always bizarre to me to think that the Badger, while it does have higher standard pen, doesn't even really have that much better gold pen than the Tortoise. And one of the reasons why I really like the Tortoise compared to the Badger as well is because while they have the same damage per minute, the Tortoise has lower alpha damage. And you might be thinking, whoa, QuickyBaby, you're sounding really stupid. Why would it be better to have lower alpha damage in World of Tanks? Well, when you're playing in a mobile tank like this, it's not about sometimes delivering a big alpha damage hits. I mean, sure, I'd love if you could have a Jagdpanzer 100 with this kind of DPM. That would be really crazy. However, lots of players can get their track repair time down to about, the 6-second mark. And the Badger, with its 6-second reload but 480 alpha damage, really struggles to be able to keep its opponent's tracks, with more and more players managing to take the durability device, even taking protection technology, or just having field mods to be able to repair their tracks quicker. And so for the Tortoise to be able to actually achieve a 5-second reload, albeit with 400 alpha damage instead, kind of makes it feel like you're able to lock down your opponents way easier than at a higher tier Badger, which makes this thing absolutely voracious. Now don't get me wrong, the Badger's distinct lack of weak points on top of the tank, like we see the Tortoise has up here that those tier 8 tanks were taking advantage of, and the fact that the Badger is the more mobile vehicle, it's definitely the better tank. But is it better tier for tier? Probably not. Is it more dangerous tier for tier? I definitely don't think so. This Tortoise can meet tier 7 tanks for goodness sake. However, while I am dangerous, I don't feel like I want to just sit in front of that T-30 and die quite yet. I think I'm a little bit too young in this battle. We're still down by 2 tanks and we're also down by 1,000 hit points. We've still got our work cut out for us if we want to be able to get through this game. And it's also, I feel like there's a lot of pressure when I play something like a Tortoise because I know it's capable of this crazy burst damage. I know it's capable of absolutely monstrous games. And so I really feel like I have to go that extra mile for the Tortoise to ensure that you don't play bad, right? No, but obviously you might think, well, you should do that in every single tank, QB. Yeah, but I think I can cut myself some slack in something like a Churchill game carrier rather than cutting myself some slack in a Tortoise, because the Tortoise cuts no one's slack. Just like that, while we finish off the Object 283 on the enemy team. And the BZ-176 makes short work of those 2 tier 9 tanks that went after them. So I give the BZ-176 a thumbs up, give them a thanks, because they've done a great job in their BZ-176. And now we can hopefully turn our attention to being able to claw our way back into this game. We're still down by 1,000 hit points. We're down by a frag here. However, if we can manage to make our way in, and I'm asking for help from the BZ-176 there on our team, then we should still be able to push through the center and then be able to work round against our opponents. So let me go back to what I was saying about equipment loadouts as we come around the corner here. And oh, I don't want to get flanked by that STG. If you're free to play, I definitely recommend using something like gun rammer with a durability and a turbo on this tank. Drop the vents. However, once you've got all the field mods, I think that you can drop the durability and take the vents. It will improve your traverse speed. It will improve your ground resistances, which will help your mobility. But more importantly, it will help you maximize one of the most already ruthless damage per minute tanks in the game. And with the vents that will improve your rate of fire by 3%, that will allow you to reach that magical 5-second reload. And with 5 seconds reload, you're pumping in 12 rounds a minute in World of Tanks. And so far this game, 5,800 damage in 8 minutes. Pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, the Tortoise could have kind of done that in only 90 seconds of continuous fire, right? Because it does have that near 4,800 DPM. But in just a second, after we manage to deal with this, hopefully deal with this T-103, you'll see some seriously scary Tortoise destruction. So I'm just hoping that this T-103 is going to appear, because I know that if the Tortoise can stay alive to be able to get into a hold down scenario where its armor is going to be even better, that's where this thing truly does become devastating. And really interesting that the BZ-176 on my team hasn't even taken a scratch. I think trying to blind fire the ISU-152 there. We put one into the side of the T-103, the Progetto managed to finish them off, and oh boy, I was just hoping that these players were quite healthy, and oh, they were. That was 900 hit points on an ISU-152, now down to 700 as the Progetto manages to take a swing at them. However, clap 1. Now we're going to turn our attention to try and finish off the ISU. Okay, he's down. Let's focus the OHO instead. Clap 2. Wow, the BZ-176 finishes him. But I'm going to switch to an HE round. We put in 500 damage, and it follows it up with a fire. We two-shot a Borask there, although it was lucky with a fire there. And just like that, yeah, where did that 6,000 damage go? Yeah, no longer 6,000 damage. Yeah, I'll take 6 kills, and I'll take 8,500 damage in this round of World of Tanks. This is the most dangerous tank destroyer in the game. Tier for tier, I feel. Sure, you've got crazy things like a Foch B at tier 10, but it's just so awkward to try and make that thing work at tier 10 with the horrible weak points that it has on top. This thing is the I don't care, I'm going to mess you up, and I got the hit points and the durability to do so tank destroyer of World of Tanks. And while you've seen me spam a load of gold and have Bond equipment on this vehicle, why don't I show you some recent gameplay from my free-to-play account as well? So I wanted to skip straight to the main course here on the free-to-play account. We start with 1,200 damage that we've dealt to a 263 and a WTR Panzer IV. I've lost my fuel tank, and usually I would have to use my repair kit on my fuel tank, but as this is my free-to-play account, which I never use premium consumables on, I don't actually need to do that. I have a fire extinguisher. I can just be able to extinguish that fire. What a luxury, a free-to-play luxury that is. Of course, my rate of fire will suffer substantially. But what I want to show you in this game is that it's not only just min-maxing your Tortoise with a bond rammer, with bond vents, with a premium consumable, and having all of the field mods. You're seeing a Tortoise that I'm currently playing on my free-to-play account that I don't even have the Badger unlocked yet. So I don't have the advantage of all of the field mods. I'm playing through with a durability device instead, which will allow me to make up for that lack of repair time that I have from the vents also, but more importantly, the durability on the tracks that you can get from the second field mod, which revolutionizes how you can play tank destroyers. And do you see how quickly this thing just shreds its opponents? I don't even have time for the commentary, it's so outrageous. We're up to 4,500 damage dealt, hopefully about to finish off the Iron Arnie. Now we're having to fire some gold rounds here because we need to penetrate the Lurver's upper plate because he's not exposing his lower plate. But we don't really need a gold round against that Oho. I will admit one thing. I was trying to go for Alliance 15 Commando, where we have to do 6,500 damage and also be able to pick up 5 kills. So this is going to be an exciting moment to see whether we can do it. Alright, there is our second kill out of 5. Just 3 more to go and only 1,000 more damage left. I was feeling pretty chipper that we might be able to get through this one. Unfortunately, the Oho manages to penetrate me, doing 318 damage, and I actually ricochet off them. Oh no, cheap baby, not aiming well here. Maybe I should have been loading the gold in this scenario. Luckily, our follow-up shot does 404 damage. Error, non-pen detected, and oh no, the Dornvang takes the kill, which means that I don't think I'm going to be able to get the 5 kills that we need to be able to complete Alliance 15 Commander for the Chimera with honors. Nevertheless, we use the intuition switch to put in an HE round and try and find where the pesky WTR Panzer IV is. There they are, and we know they're reloading, and that is 400 damage with my name on it. Oh no! Somebody also hits the WTR Panzer IV just before I do, which means that we can't get our damage total over 6,257. And spoilers, it doesn't. Rip me, rip my feelings. But to be fair, you know, with games like these, I don't think it's going to take too long to be able to hit that 6,500 damage total for the Commando mission. And yeah, I just wanted to have this extra game here to show you it's not all about the Bond Rammer, it's not all about the Bond Vents, it's not about the field mods or the premium consumable. This tank doesn't need all of that. I mean, it would like to have it, no doubt, because you can make the most dangerous vehicle even more outrageously so. But this one's also still just absolutely fabulous for a free-to-play player. My recommendation for you is must use a turbo, must use a gun rammer, and then your choice of either durability or vents depending on what state your tank is in. And then just be aggressive. Work the corner. You've got a weak point. Don't care about it. Just take the shots anyway and just make sure your gun is always blazing away against your opponents. Don't worry as well about overexposing your lower plate. As you saw, I was angling at about 45 degrees where I go around the corner because this vehicle has an awesome gun arc. And if you do all of those things, this vehicle will easily be netting you some of the best average damage per game and also win ratio on your account. Post-game stats-wise, unfortunately, what replays is just being really useless recently, and I can't upload the replays onto what replays, but they were ace tankers. Come on, 8,500 damage and 6,500 damage, and a load of kills to boot. And it's unsurprising, really, because the Tortoise is just the kind of tank that gets those kind of highlight rounds. And so if you've never thought about going down the British tank destroyers, definitely don't sell the Tortoise when you get there, and with it being top of the tree, there's been no better time. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for today. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you disagree with me that the Tortoise is the most dangerous tank destroyer in the game, which one do you think it is? In the comments down below. Do you think it's the Object 268 version 4 by any chance? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.